7:00 p.m., a lavish feast was meticulously prepared in Mrs. Ten's small, dilapidated home. However, the purpose of inviting neighbors and relatives was not a usual death anniversary commemoration, but a joyous celebration for her son, Tam, who was about to move to the city for university. Tam, Mrs. Ten's only son, had been an outstanding student throughout his 3 years of high school, chosen every year by the school to compete in provincial-level academic competitions. Last year, he was even nominated for the Road to Olympia program, but unfortunately, he had to miss it due to health reasons. In this day and age, academic excellence isn't particularly rare, but for Tam, an orphan who lost his father early and came from a poor household, excelling was an extraordinary effort against adversity. Besides studying, Tam also helped his mother with her small business. The university Tam was admitted to, Bok Hoa University, was a top-tier institution, attracting the best students nationwide. Tam's chosen field, information technology and telecommunications, was also very timely. Upon receiving the acceptance letter and admission details, Tam immediately ran to the market to show his mother, Mrs. Ten, who was so overjoyed she burst into tears. While happiness abounded, the two faced significant worries, as studying at a university in the city was no easy feat. Mrs. Ten borrowed 20 million VND from relatives to cover tuition and purchase essential items for her son. Fortunately, due to their poor household status and Tam's exam scores being among the top 10 highest-ranked new students, he received a partial scholarship. Back at the party, Mrs. Ten raised her glass to her son and began, "My dear relatives, thank you all for being here to share this moment with my son and me. Tam, I'm sure you've heard all the blessings from your aunts and uncles. Listen to them, study hard, get a good job after graduation, and don't get caught up in bad habits that would disappoint everyone. Do you hear me, Tam?" Tam nodded and replied, "Yes, Mom, I understand. Rest assured, I will make you and everyone proud." Someone nearby chimed in, "That's wonderful, keep it up, son. Mrs. Ten, will young Tam be living alone? I heard that apartment rents in the city are really expensive, like 2 or 3 million a month." Mrs. Ten nodded in agreement. "Yes, that's right. But not to hide anything from you all, my son and I were quite lucky. My husband's cousin, Mr. Dai, is helping us out." "Mr. Dai, you say? I heard he's very successful in business in the city, but his whole family moved away. He hasn't visited the countryside in ages. If you hadn't mentioned him, I'm sure he would have forgotten." "Mr. Dai is helping Tam, isn't he?" Mrs. Ten nodded and recounted. "Yes. About a month ago, when I received Tam's admission letter, I started asking people who had children studying in the city before. They would share their experiences, saying that renting a place is expensive, not to mention the fear of scams. But then I suddenly remembered Mr. Dai. So I asked for his phone number and contact information to ask him for affordable rental recommendations. After all, he's a city dweller. Surely he'd know more than us country folks. And it was true. After calling and talking to him, I told him frankly about Tam's situation. He immediately congratulated my boy and promised to help find a place. He knows a few people who provide such services. When the call ended, I just thought if he could help Tam find a place, that would be great. As long as he doesn't get scammed. But who would have known? A few days later, I received a call from Mr. Dai. He said he had found a place. The room was a bit old but clean and airy. The location wasn't too far from Tam's university. And most importantly, the price was reasonable, with rent at 1 million a month, not including electricity and water. But if he uses it sparingly, it would only be about 200,000 or 300,000 more. Mrs. Ten then turned to her son. "Tam, after you settle down in the city, remember your mother's words. Buy some fruit to give to Uncle Dai, okay?" "Yes, Mom, I will." "Well, it's getting late. Everyone, please enjoy the feast. Mr. Dai said you all should feel comfortable and not rush home." And so, the party gradually unfolded in an atmosphere filled with laughter, cheerful conversation, and blessings for the young new student. It was late when the guests had almost all left. Mrs. Ten finished cleaning up and went into Tam's room. He was still awake, his eyes wide open, staring at the ceiling. Seeing this, Mrs. Ten immediately asked, "It's so late, why aren't you asleep, son?" Tam looked at his mother and gently replied, "I'm too excited, I can't sleep. I'll just sleep on the bus tomorrow." You've never traveled so far before. The bus has all sorts of complicated people. Oh, Mom, why are you so pessimistic? This isn't pessimism. I've witnessed many similar cases. Don't argue with me, just close your eyes and get some rest. I'll wake you at 5 a.m. to eat, bathe, and head to the bus station. The 6 a.m. bus will be perfect. Oh, and one more thing. Mr. Dye said to call him when you get to the bus station so he can pick you up. Have you saved Mr. Dye's number yet? Yes, Mom, I have. Mrs. Ten looked at the phone on her son's bedside table. Although it was a smartphone, it was an old model bought secondhand from an acquaintance, only good for calls and basic internet browsing. Other apps would often lag. Mrs. Ten then whispered, "Try to study hard, son. Don't chase after trends. Try to earn money to get a new phone by the end of the year. I heard the local committee has a loan policy for children from household families. If we can get a loan, I'll buy you a computer." Mom, you don't need to buy me one. Why not? I may be old-fashioned, but I know your major needs a computer. You can't always borrow from friends or use school equipment. This is the time to buy one, but I haven't managed to save enough yet, so it'll have to be by the end of the year. It's okay, son. If you want to buy those things, you can go to the city, study, and work part-time. You'll save up and buy them in no time. Don't be too eager to work and earn money early. Focus on your studies, son. I don't want you to work so hard that you get tired and sick just for a few bucks, affecting your studies. Your academic results are important. Mom, don't worry, I know how to manage. I'll try my best to graduate, get a stable job, and take care of you. Hearing her son's words, Mrs. Ten was deeply moved, but she tried to compose herself and said, "All right, let's talk about that later. For now, study seriously. Get some rest now. You have a long journey tomorrow from our countryside to the city. You'll be exhausted by the time you reach the bus station in the evening." Yes, Mom, I know. I'll go to sleep now. Good night. Good night. After leaving her son's room, despite what she told Tam, Mrs. Ten tossed and turned in her own bed, unable to sleep. She was both happy and worried, her mind filled with an indescribable mix of thoughts. The next morning, the alarm clock roused Tam at 5 a.m. He groggily stepped out of his room and immediately smelled the familiar aroma of Mrs. Ten's salty, braised, dried fish. Perhaps this was the dish that had been with Tam since childhood. Stepping downstairs, he asked, "Mom, did you cook braised fish again?" "Brush your teeth, wash your face, take a refreshing shower, and then I'll scoop you a bowl of porridge with dried fish. Eat porridge so you'll be full, son. Other things, I'm afraid you might need to go to the bathroom on the bus." Yes, Mom. A moment later, sitting before a steaming bowl of porridge, he took a spoon and slurped it down. The dried fish was both salty and spicy, with a hint of sweetness from the sugar. Tam thought to himself, "I must eat a lot. It might be a long time before I can taste this fish porridge again." After eating, Mrs. Ten asked a neighbor with a motorbike to take her son to the main road to catch the bus. Before he left, she reminded him one last time. Watching her son's figure gradually disappear, Mrs. Ten clasped her hands over her chest and murmured, "I pray to heaven, Buddha, our ancestors, and especially the Earth God. Please protect him and bring him good fortune." Time flew by. The bus had been traveling for over 10 hours. Tam asked a fellow passenger and learned that it was only about half an hour until the station. He immediately took out his phone to call Mr. Dye. After several long rings with no response, Tam felt a bit anxious. Part of him wanted to call a second time, but he also feared Mr. Dye might be busy. However, while he was still battling with his thoughts, Tam was startled by the ringing of his phone. The name displayed on the screen was Mr. Dye. Without hesitation, he answered. "Hello, Uncle Dye." "Ah, it's me, Tam. You called me right." "Yes, I just stepped out to the garden shop to buy some ornamental plants and feed the fish in the pond. I was waiting for your call but didn't see one. I thought it was some real estate scammer. When I checked, I saw your number. Why didn't you pick up, kid? You should have called again." "I was afraid of bothering you." "Oh, bother what? We're family. Have you arrived yet?" "Yes, I'm almost there." "Is that so? Then I'll change my clothes and go to the bus station. Stand right in front of the gate, near the street food vendors, okay? And absolutely do not let any motorbike taxis or vendors pester you. Check your belongings carefully. Keep your backpack with money in front of you to avoid getting snatched from behind. Yes, my mom already told me. Good, your mother is thoughtful and experienced. Hang up now so you don't waste phone battery. I'll call you again when I get there. Yes, thank you. The call ended. About 20 minutes later, the bus stopped at the station. Tam checked his luggage and stepped down. It was called luggage, but he only had a backpack and a small bag containing a few changes of clothes and some dried food Mrs. Ten had prepared. Stepping into the city for the first time left him wide-eyed even from the bus. Now, seeing the bustling traffic, even cars he'd never seen before with his own eyes. After getting used to the lively atmosphere, Tam received another call from Mr. Dye. He had stopped his scooter on the other side of the road. He waved, signaling Tam to cross. Mr. Dye looked his nephew up and down and couldn't help but exclaim, "Goodness, you've grown so big, son. The day I left the countryside to start my business in the city, you were just a toddler, running around, asking for a few coins for a cake. And now, your face is just like your father's." Tam chuckled, scratching his head awkwardly. Many people say I resemble my father, but I don't know if it's true. That's because I was too young when he passed away, and the altar photo at home is black and white and old, so. All right, don't dwell on sad memories. Get in the car, son. Tam nodded. Mr. Dye's scooter started moving. Tam asked, "Uncle, is my apartment far from here?" "No, but have you eaten yet?" "No, I ate at home this morning. The bus did stop at a rest stop for passengers to eat, but I get motion sickness, so I only bought water." "Then let's not worry about checking in right now. I'll take you for pho, okay?" Pho? Yes, don't worry, this place is famous, delicious, clean, and reasonably priced. Eat, don't be shy. You're my nephew, not a stranger. Or how about I treat you to dinner? Son, did your mother tell you to be so polite? Your family don't think like that. Otherwise, I'll get mad. I'll take you back to the bus station right now. If you're grateful, then study hard and properly. Get a good job after graduation. That's what would make us happy. Yes, I understand. Good that you understand. Now, eat comfortably and naturally. Don't worry about anything, I'll pay. We're strong after all. Mr. Dye then took Tam to a restaurant and ordered a bowl of pho with all kinds of meat, plus a poached egg and some fried dough sticks. Tam ate with gusto, praising the food. Then, as if remembering something, Tam asked, "Is Aunt Lou doing well?" "As strong as an ox. She's about to retire, so while we're not rich, we have enough to live comfortably with her pension. Plus, we have some small investments that bring in interest every month. That's why your Aunt Lou, besides doing housework and cooking, always goes out with her friends in the neighborhood. In the mornings, she does aerobics, and in the evenings, she joins the dance club and sings. She's tried many times to get me to join her dancing, but I don't think it suits me. I prefer gardening, raising birds, and fish. When I feel up to it, I ride my bike a few laps to stretch my bones. I remember that before I came to the city, you and Aunt Lou had one child. I don't know if you have any more now." "No, just Cuck." But Tam noticed Mr. Dye's hesitant, sad tone, so he asked, "What's wrong, Uncle?" "This is a bit hard to talk about, but anyway, you're family, so I won't hide anything. My daughter Cuck has had a very difficult life. 2 years ago, she brought a man home to meet us and introduced him as her boyfriend. First of all, she was already pregnant. Needless to say, your aunt and I were both happy and worried. That man said he would take responsibility and marry her properly. At first, your aunt and I thought, even though Cuck was pregnant before marriage, if they both wanted to marry legitimately, it would be a good thing. But who would have thought? While we were planning the wedding and inviting relatives and guests, I received terrible news. Cuck found out that the man was a philanderer. Besides her, he had 4 or 5 other women. He was even so despicable that while Cuck was pregnant, he was sleeping with prostitutes. Your aunt and I were so furious that we canceled the wedding. Cuck was so shocked that she fell down the stairs and miscarried. After that incident, she's been like a lost soul. Your aunt and I took her to many places for psychological treatment, even to a mental hospital, but nothing helped. She's normal most of the time, but whenever she has an episode, she raves. She says someone stole her baby. She also talks about ghosts and spirits. Because of her condition, your aunt and I have been constantly worried. What if one day we're gone? What will happen to Cuck? Mr. Dye stopped mid-sentence, took out a pack of cigarettes, and lit one. Let's not talk about those sad things anymore. Eat your fill, and I'll take you to check into your room. The landlady is a friend of your Aunt Lou from the dance club. The normal price for students is $2 million a month, but since we recommended you, she reduced it by $500,000. I went to check the place. The security is good, and no men and women are allowed to live together. I'm warning you, if you have a girlfriend, you're not allowed to bring her back. Tam laughed at that. Don't worry, Uncle, I'm not planning on dating or anything like that. I'm afraid I don't have the looks with my plain face, bright skin, and dark lips. I'm a bit self-conscious. No, it's not that I'm self-conscious. I just want to focus on my studies. Oh, and one more thing, I have a favor to ask you, Uncle. I need money. No, I just want to find a part-time job, serving or something, I don't mind. You just arrived here, haven't even started university, and you're already thinking about working? Your mother also forbids you from working. But I think I can balance it to help my mother. I can't let her shoulder everything alone. If you can, please help me with this and keep it a secret from my mother. All right, if you're so determined, I'll ask around my acquaintances to see if there's any light work to earn some extra money for expenses. But don't be too greedy for money and neglect your studies. Yes, I understand. Good, focus on eating, son. A while later, after dinner, Mr. Dye paid the bill and drove Tam away. On the way, he even stopped at a grocery store and bought his nephew a box of instant noodles and some other necessities. Tam shook his head, refusing to accept, but Mr. Dye insisted, and he reluctantly agreed. Around 7 p.m. that same day, Mr. Dye's scooter turned into alley number 317 and stopped in front of the iron gate at the end of the alley. A small sign hung in front, saying, "Rooms for rent," with a phone number for contact. Here it is, Mr. Dye pointed to the sign. Save this number. It's Mrs. Six's, the landlady. Call her if you need anything. Mr. Dye quickly took out his phone and called her. She was a middle-aged woman, her true age unknown, but definitely a city dweller. Her attire, light brown hair, and heavy makeup were completely different from the people in Tam's hometown. Hello, Mr. Dye, you're here. Yes, I'm here. Sister Six, this is Tam, my nephew. He's a new student at Bok Ho University. Hello, Auntie. I really admire hardworking students. They are tidy and polite, not noisy. He's a good boy. He's as gentle as a lamb. I hope you'll take good care of him. It's getting late. Come on in, I'll show you the room. The iron gate creaked open. Tam and Mr. Dye followed Mrs. Six, passing several rental rooms, and stopped at a small room in the corner on the second floor. Mrs. Six fumbled through a large bunch of keys and pulled out a single key. This is your room key. I only have one spare key. If you lose it, let me know immediately, and I'll give you the spare to make a copy. Yes, I understand. When Tam opened the room door and flipped the light switch, he was a little surprised. Before coming here, Tam imagined that for such a cheap price, he couldn't expect a perfect rental room. But who would have thought this room was about 20 square meters, with a bathroom right inside? Other furniture included a bed, a wardrobe, a study desk, and a sturdy wooden bookshelf nailed to the wall. It was almost ready for him to move in immediately. Mr. Dye looked at his nephew and asked, "What's wrong, son?" "Oh, Uncle, this room is beautiful, even bigger than my room in the countryside." "Goodness, that's great. Remember to take care of your health here, follow the rules, and don't cause any noise or disturbance, okay?" "Yes, I understand." "Well, it's getting late, I'll be going now. If you have anything to tell him, go ahead, I'll leave first." "You can leave it to me." Mrs. Ten bowed respectfully again. "Thank you, Uncle, please be careful." "Call me if you need anything, don't be shy, son." After Mr. Dye left, Mrs. Six showed Tam how to read the electricity meter and calculate the electricity and water bills. She added, "Normally, if regular people rent here, they pay 1 month's rent in advance plus another month's deposit, so 2 months. But since you're Mr. Dye's nephew, just 1 month's rent is fine. I collect rent at the beginning of the month, along with the electricity and water you've used previously." "Yes, I understand." After a few more instructions, Mrs. Six received a call from someone and happily left immediately. The gate clanged shut. It seemed she was off to her dance club, just as Mr. Dye had mentioned. Now that he was alone, Tam stepped into the room, looking around once more. This was the room where, if nothing changed, he would spend his entire 3 years of university. Oh, I forgot. He slapped his forehead, then took out his phone and called Mrs. Ten. Actually, he had already called when he arrived at the bus station, but he called again to connect. Mrs. Ten's voice quickly rang out. Tam, my son, have you arrived yet? I've been waiting for so long, I was about to call. Yes, Mom, I just got to the room. Uncle Dye took me to dinner, that's why it took so long. Oh, that's good then. He's really thoughtful, isn't he? How's the room, son? Is it okay? It's beautiful, Mom. Spacious and fully equipped. My phone can't show pictures or video call, otherwise I'd send you a look. Oh dear, just describe it, I can hear it. Where's Mr. Dye? Let me talk to him for a bit. Uncle Dye and the landlady have left already. All right then, go get some rest, okay? I'll call Mr. Dye to thank him again. Yes, Mom. And Mom, remember to eat enough at home, don't go hungry, okay? If you get sick at home, I'll be very worried. Don't worry, I'm as strong as an ox, not afraid of any sickness. Now, go rest. I'll call Mr. Dye, then turn off the lights and go to sleep. Yes, Mom. Good night, Mom. The call ended. Tam smiled softly. At the same time, he resolved to study diligently and work part-time to help support Mrs. Ten. About an hour later, Tam finished cleaning and arranging his belongings. When everything was done, he closed the door, lay down on the bed. The bedsheets were already there, but the blanket and pillow he brought from home. Perhaps because he had been traveling all day and had barely slept the previous night, his eyes felt like they were shutting on their own. He didn't want to disrupt his body clock, so he turned off the light and closed his eyes. He thought he would have a good, comfortable sleep. But then he felt restless, as if he could hear people talking in his ear. Because he was so tired, Tam didn't realize who they were. It wasn't until he heard the distinct sound of a motorbike rattling in the alley near the gate that he suddenly woke up. Looking around, Tam saw himself lying on the bed, and the sound of the motorbike engine was still incessant. He fumbled to get up, stepped out of bed, unlatched the door, and opened it. Standing on the second-floor hallway looking down, he realized the source of the noise. It was a young man struggling to kickstart an old Honda scooter in the courtyard. Each time the engine sputtered, a puff of black smoke shot out. Goodness, how can I use this thing? He muttered. Both curious and willing to help, Tam walked down the stairs and greeted him. Sir, what's wrong? The young man looked up at Tam and grimaced. It's been doing this for a while. Before I brought it here, I spent a lot of money to refurbish it, but it didn't help much. Let me take a look for you. Take a look, are you a mechanic? No, I'm just a student. But back in my hometown, my house was next to a motorcycle repair shop. I often went there to play and help out, so I know a little bit. Could you please take a look for me? Yes, Tam nodded and stepped down. He bent down and after a quick inspection, Tam concluded, I suspect there's nothing wrong with the engine of this bike. The key isn't the original, is it? That's right. The original key got lost, so I had a locksmith make a new one. It's been working fine until now. That's right, it works, but it's a copy, so over time, it no longer fits perfectly, which makes it easy to stall. Are you serious? I'm just guessing, but it's best if you take it to a repair shop. All right, thank you. What else can I do now? At this, the young man quickly pushed his bike away, looking somewhat hurried. Tam didn't stand there anymore, but suddenly remembered what he needed to do that morning. Go to school to get his timetable and explore the campus before the official enrollment day. Just as he was about to go back upstairs, Tam's eyes accidentally caught sight of a window in a room on the ground floor. A woman was staring intently. Her gaze really made him curious. It was as if Tam had something on his face. However, before he could even wonder, the other person quickly closed the window. Feeling a bit confused, but remembering what he needed to do, Tam didn't want to waste any more time. By noon, Tam had completed a tour of Bok Hoa University. It was spacious and equipped with many modern facilities. Previously, he and his mother had considered living in the dormitory to save money and be closer to classes. However, they heard that information traveled slowly in the countryside, so all dormitory registrations were already full. Having finished his errands, Tam didn't intend to go home, but quickly went out to find a place for lunch. He wandered around the streets near the school to see if there were any places hiring part-time staff for serving or other tasks. The city was large and bustling, so it shouldn't be difficult for Tam to find a suitable job. However, the young student quickly encountered a setback. Although he saw many hiring signs, most of these jobs required a lot of time, sometimes up to 10 hours a day. With such hours, where would he find time for his studies? And if he only worked a few hours a week, 2 or 3 days, no one would agree. Time passed quickly and the day was almost over. Tam walked back to his room dejectedly, looking both tired and utterly drained. Just as he was about to go up the stairs, Tam heard a voice call out, "Hey, young man." Tam turned around and recognized the young man with the old scooter from that morning. "Hello, sir." "Thank you so much. I took the bike to the shop, and they said the key was indeed worn out. It only cost a few tens of thousands. Lucky for me, otherwise, if I had left it to them to fix everything, they would probably have charged me for all sorts of things." "Oh, that's good then. Where are you coming from?" "I went to school. Before enrollment day, I went to get my timetable and look around." "Oh, which school are you at? A freshman?" "I'm at Bok Hoa University, a freshman in information technology." "Oh, so you're my junior. I'm in my second year at Bok Hoa, but I'm studying economics." "Are you serious?" "Why wouldn't I be serious? Everyone in this alley and the surrounding area is a student from Bok Hoa. It's close by. What's your name?" "My name is Tam, and you, sir?" "I'm Min. My room is right here. Which room are you in?" "I'm in the last room on the second floor." "Oh, so Mrs. Six rented it out again. Do you have any friends or fellow countrymen staying with you?" "I'm alone, but I'll probably look for a few people to share with soon to save on costs." "That's a good idea." "My room is shared by 3 of us. Each person only pays a few $100,000 a month. Come on, go take a shower, and I'll take you to the draft beer place at the end of the alley. Let's have a few beers to cool off." "I don't drink, and I don't know how to." "If you don't drink much, just have a little. It's not like we're going to get drunk or anything bad. But it's so hot like this, a cold beer makes it hard to sleep. Besides, you helped me with the bike. If you refuse, I'll be sad. Juniors should listen to their seniors, remember." Tam wanted to refuse, but seeing Min's sincerity, he nodded. That evening, at 8 p.m., Tam and Min arrived at the draft beer quan at the beginning of alley 317. The bustling and noisy atmosphere made him feel a bit overwhelmed. Min, however, seemed used to it, as the owner greeted him with a wide smile. A few pitchers of beer were brought out, and Min poured 2 glasses for Tam. "Drink up, take a big gulp to cool off." Tam nodded, raising his glass, but he only sipped because, truthfully, Tam had no interest in the bitter and somewhat pungent taste of beer. Min didn't force him. He just brought Tam here to talk comfortably. Min shared his experiences about the university Tam was about to attend. The two chatted and nibbled until the quan was about to close, then they stood up. Tam offered to split the bill with Min, but of course, his senior immediately reprimanded him. "Stop that habit right now. Don't talk about money like strangers. If you want to be happy, next time you hit the jackpot, you can treat me to a meal." "Goodness, what jackpot? To be honest, I went looking for a part-time job this afternoon, but it was too difficult." "What kind of job were you looking for that was difficult?" "High salary. Serving shifts here are tough. Earning about 2 or 3 million is already a lot." "No, I don't demand a high salary. It's just that I don't want it to affect my studies, so I'm looking for a job that doesn't take too much time, and the salary is enough to help with rent and food. That would be perfect." "Is that so? Why don't you come work with me? I work part-time at a printing and photocopy shop. The customers are just students from our school. There are no time constraints or anything. When you're free, you can come help the owner print course outlines and bind documents. You get 100,000 for each session, paid immediately. You get paid for what you do. Sometimes, when I'm busy with school, I don't go, but if I go the next week, it's still fine." In short, it's a good opportunity for students who want to work part-time. "That's great. That's exactly the kind of job I'm looking for. Can you introduce me?" "Okay, tomorrow then. They have a new batch of course outlines to print for the new academic year, so they're short-staffed. Just try to wake up early and come with me. You'll get used to it after 1 or 2 sessions. Yes, I understand. All right, now go home and get a good night's sleep to clear your head. Yes. A moment later, back in his rental room, Tam was overjoyed. He truly didn't expect such good fortune to come his way so quickly. He even thought about telling Mrs. Ten. But then he remembered and decided against it, because Mrs. Ten didn't want her son to work part-time. After his personal hygiene, Tam lay on the bed and quickly fell asleep, filled with excitement for tomorrow's work. However, in his daze, besides hearing voices, he also felt something heavy pressing on his body. It was so heavy that Tam felt suffocated. Unable to bear it any longer, he finally struggled and woke up with a start. Sitting up on the bed, Tam looked around, bewildered. It was just him alone in the empty room. A feeling of both coldness and discomfort washed over him. The small clock on the table showed exactly 3:00 a.m. He didn't think much of it, just felt it was early and tried to lie down again to go back to sleep. But once again, Tam tossed and turned restlessly. Around 6 a.m., he was woken by a knock on the door and Min's voice from outside. Tam, are you awake yet? Yes, I'm here. Why are you so slow? Get up, we need to go to the photo shop. Oh shoot, I'm so sorry, I forgot, Min. Please wait a moment. Hurry up. He quickly did his personal hygiene, changed his clothes as fast as he could. He opened the door and stepped out. Min was already downstairs on his old Honda scooter. Get on. Tam walked closer to the scooter. Min raised an eyebrow. What, didn't you sleep well? You look so haggard. No, I slept, but I guess I tossed and turned and didn't sleep soundly. Oh, you probably drank too little. Just have a few beers like me. Sometimes I don't even make it to bed. Well, you'll get used to it in a few days. I can't drink beer or wine. Why not? Wear your helmet, otherwise you'll get caught by the police and lose a month's rent. Yes. Tam's first day at the photo shop went smoothly, as the work wasn't too demanding for him. In addition, Tam was allowed to use the computer at the shop during his free time to practice. Seeing his diligence and quick learning, the shop owner was impressed. He asked about Tam's circumstances, and at the end of the day, even gave him an extra 50,000 VND, telling him to come back whenever he was free. Holding 150,000 VND in his hand, Tam was overjoyed. On his way home, he didn't forget to thank Min by inviting him to dinner. Everything seemed to be going well until Tam returned to his room and opened the door. He involuntarily shivered as a wave of cold air emanated from somewhere. It was strange, because the weather outside that day was hot and humid. Tam even checked if he had forgotten to turn off the fan, but there was no cooling device inside. After showering, Tam lay down on the bed. Because he was quite tired today, he decided to sleep early to regain his strength. Min was busy tomorrow, so Tam would go to the photo shop alone. He also planned to finish work and go to Mr. Dai's house to buy some fruit to visit and thank them. And so, once again, Tam woke up with a start at 3:00 a.m. He felt like he couldn't breathe, his hands and feet trembling. In his dream earlier, Tam vaguely saw a young man pressing down on him. He instinctively thought of bad things. But then Tam quickly reassured himself, pushing away the disturbing thoughts. Because of this, he couldn't go back to sleep and just lay restlessly on the bed. It wasn't until he heard the sounds of other tenants waking up and moving about that Tam finally got up. Standing in the bathroom, looking at his reflection in the mirror, Tam almost jumped. His eyes were deeply sunken, and his lips were so dry they were cracked. Goodness, what's wrong with me? It's only been 2 days. After a quick personal hygiene, Tam headed out and took a motorbike taxi to the photocopy shop. He didn't know if it was due to his fatigue, but his workday was quite unstable. He printed the wrong pages in a document and even gave the wrong change to a customer. Fortunately, the shop owner, thinking Tam was ill, was understanding. He didn't punish him or demand compensation, but told him to go home and rest. After lunch, Tam felt a bit helpless, but had no choice but to apologize and leave. Normally, Tam would decide to go back to his room to rest, but for some reason, after last night's nightmare, he didn't want to go back to the rental room. Something made Tam feel uneasy. He stopped at a convenience store to eat instant noodles and rest. By early afternoon, when he felt somewhat better, Tam bought a bag of fruit and hired a motorbike taxi to take him to the address Mr. Dye had given him earlier. After a 15-minute ride, Tam stopped in front of a single-story house on a quiet street. The surrounding houses all had closed gates and high walls. Tam guessed this neighborhood was mainly for civil servants, office workers. By this time, they had already gone to work, which was why it was so deserted and silent. After paying the motorbike taxi driver, Tam lightly pressed the doorbell. A figure quickly appeared from inside. It was a middle-aged woman with her hair in curlers. "Who is it?" "Aunt Lou, is that you?" "Who are you? How do you know me?" "I'm Tam, Mr. Dye's nephew." "Oh, are you the one who just came to study? My husband drove you to check into your room, right?" "Yes." "Goodness, you've grown so tall and handsome, son." "Auntie, is Mr. Dye home?" "No, he took Cuck to her re-examination this morning. Every time it's like this, he has to stay at the hospital for a day. They won't be back until tomorrow." "Yes, I heard Mr. Dye mention Cuck's story. I came today with some fruit to give you and Uncle." "Oh, why bother with fruit, son? It's too expensive." "It's not that expensive. Besides, Uncle Dye has helped me so much, this is nothing." "All right then, I'll accept it to make you happy. But next time you visit, just come empty-handed. Don't buy anything, it's too much trouble. My husband and I don't need much. Cuck never even touches these things." "Yes, I understand. Oh, let me open the gate for you. Standing outside like this, I might mistake you for a delivery person." Mrs. Lou's words made Tam smile. A moment later, inside the house, Mrs. Lou offered Tam fruit juice. Looking around, the house, though not large, was very cozy. Not to mention the garden with ornamental plants outside. Mrs. Lou didn't forget to ask, "How is the room at Mrs. Six's? Is it inconvenient?" Tam immediately replied, "Oh, Auntie, the room is very good. Clean, airy, and cheap too. If it weren't for you and Uncle, I wouldn't have found such a good room." "It's nothing. Mrs. Six and I are old acquaintances. She's a kind person and often visits here. The other day, when your Uncle Dye mentioned finding a room, I immediately thought of her. In this day and age, with the city being so crowded, there aren't many landlords like her who rent rooms to students at such a reasonable price. How many generations of students has her family helped? Even during holidays or gatherings, students come back to visit her and chat." After chatting for a while, Mrs. Lou invited Tam to stay for dinner. Since she was alone at home today, she felt a bit bored. Tam intended to refuse out of politeness, but he also didn't really want to go back to his rental room, so he reluctantly agreed. Thus, even though Tam wanted to avoid it, by the time evening came, he had to bid farewell to Mrs. Lou and leave. Sitting on the motorbike taxi, Tam felt truly restless, and when he reached the beginning of alley 317 and saw the draft beer Quan, he immediately tapped the driver's shoulder. "Excuse me, stop here." After paying, Tam went inside and ordered a pitcher of beer. To save money, he only used the snacks available at the Quan. When the beer was brought out, Tam poured himself a full glass, closed his eyes, held his nose, and chugged it all down in one gulp. The Quan owner saw this and immediately asked, "Why are you drinking like that? Are you heartbroken?" "No, I can't sleep. I want to get drunk and have a good night's sleep." "It seems you visited Min yesterday, right?" "Yes, I'm in the same alley as Min, at Mrs. Six's place, right?" "Yes, that lodging house is very crowded. Mrs. Six is always happy because many of them are my regular customers. Sometimes, they even call ahead and bring their own beer and snacks to their rooms. That's how you do business, you have to be attentive to keep customers. Since you're here, why don't you take my phone number? Call me if you ever want a drink." "Yes, thank you. Which room are you in? If I'm not mistaken, I delivered beer there the other day. Students often rent rooms there, don't they?" "I'm in the last room on the second floor." Tam thought this was just a casual conversation, but when he finished his sentence, the Quan owner frowned. "Are you serious?" "What do you mean?" "I'm asking if you're in the last room on the second floor." "Yes." "Goodness, why did Mrs. Six rent out that room? Aren't you afraid?" "Afraid of what? I don't understand what you're saying." "That room can't be lived in." "Why can't it be lived in?" "Someone died in there previously. That happened 5 years ago. That incident shook the entire neighborhood. A student, I heard he was very smart, but he got involved in gambling, drinking, and lottery. His parents in the countryside had to sell everything to pay his debts, but it wasn't enough. So, in desperation, the student hanged himself in his room. He was discovered stiff. That incident caused many students to move out. But those who stayed behind spread many ghost stories about the room where the student died. They said they would hear crying at night and even footsteps walking back and forth. Mrs. Six herself was once startled and almost fell down the stairs. Luckily, she wasn't seriously injured. After that, she hired a master to perform exorcism, put up talismans, and then closed the room, not renting it to anyone until now. The current tenants don't know about this story, only old residents like me remember. I thought everything was peaceful, but now Mrs. Six is renting it out again. This is really reckless. Tam's face turned pale. The Quan owner then asked, "So, since you moved in, have you encountered anything strange?" I don't know how to explain what I saw. Tam took another gulp of beer to compose himself. He then began to recount his strange dreams. After listening, the Quan owner clicked his tongue. "All right then, you must tell Mrs. Six to move you to another room immediately or move out and find another place. Don't be stubborn, okay? Otherwise, you'll bring misfortune upon yourself." Misfortune, what do you mean? That room is filled with negative energy. The spirit of the dead student hasn't moved on. It considers that room its own, so it will disturb anyone who moves in. Lightly, you might get sick. Heavily, you might be possessed and do bad things. You're this old, you must have heard about superstitious stories and ghosts, right? Yes, I have, but I didn't believe them before. Believe me, I'm telling you the truth. Don't stay there anymore. Just then, a group of students came in to drink. The Quan owner had to get up to greet them. Tam sat there, restless and worried. He couldn't find a suitable explanation for what he was experiencing, except that he was being haunted by the ghost of the deceased student. Suddenly remembering something, Tam took out his phone and called Mrs. Six, the landlady. It took 3 attempts before she finally picked up. "Hello, who is it?" Mrs. Six's loud voice, accompanied by music, made Tam guess she was at the dance club. "Aunt Six, it's Tam." "Oh, it's you. What's wrong? I'm busy with the club activities." "Auntie, I want to ask if I can move to another room." "What? Why do you want to move?" "Auntie, there are no other rooms available. All the rooms are rented out except for yours. If you can live there, live there. If not, then move out. Have you found another place already?" "No, I haven't found any other place. I heard people say that someone died in my room, Auntie." Who told you that lie? Tell me, and I'll go give them a piece of my mind. How dare they spread rumors and affect my business? And let me tell you, that room is the cheapest one. If you can't live there, then pack your bags tomorrow. I'll refund your rent." Auntie Six. Before Tam could finish, the call ended. He sighed deeply. Why is this happening? The Quan owner returned and asked, "What's wrong? Did you just call Mrs. Six?" "Yes, I just called and she said if I can't live there, then I should move out. She said all the rooms are taken." Goodness, how irresponsible. And what about the rent and deposit? Will she refund them? "Since I was introduced by you, she didn't take a deposit, only the first month's rent, and she said she would refund it." "All right then, at least you won't lose money. Just consider it a hassle to move. Tomorrow, try to find another room and move out. Don't stay there anymore." "Yes, I understand." But as he said, before tomorrow, Tam had to go back to his room tonight. If he hadn't known, it would have been fine, but now that he had heard the story of the dead student, Tam remembered his horrifying dream. He imagined that if he went back there, would everything just be a dream tonight, or would there be even more terrifying things? The more he thought, the more confused Tam became. After finishing the beer on the table, he got up to pay. But his next destination wasn't Mrs. Six's lodging house. He asked the motorbike taxi to take him back to his uncle's house. Arriving in front of the familiar gate, he looked inside. The lights in the house were off, only a faint shadow in the courtyard. He looked at his watch and murmured, "It's already 10 p.m. Aunt Lou must be asleep." He knew it wasn't convenient, but he had nowhere else to go. So, after nearly 10 minutes of hesitation, Tam finally reached out and pressed the doorbell. A couple of rings sounded, followed by the light turning on from a window. Mrs. Lou opened the door and stepped out. "Who is it?" Aunt Lou, it's Tam. Oh, Tam, why are you here? Did you forget something? No, Auntie, I came to. Mrs. Lou frowned. Goodness, you smell like beer again. Drinking, are you? Why are you so naughty, son? No, Auntie, I'm not drunk. I have something to ask you. What is it, son? Auntie, can I stay overnight? What? Aren't you staying at the lodging house? Why are you asking to stay overnight? This is confusing, son. What's wrong? Tam scratched his head and recounted everything. Mrs. Lou was also very surprised after hearing it. Something like this happened? Let me call her and ask. Yes, please, Auntie. Mrs. Lou took out her phone, but after several attempts, Mrs. Six didn't pick up, so she called her husband. Mr. Dye, who was at the hospital after understanding the situation, also told his wife to let Tam in. Let him stay overnight. I'll be back tomorrow and we'll figure out a solution. Hearing this, Tam profusely thanked them. However, it seemed that his nephew appearing in the middle of the night, smelling of beer, made Mrs. Lou feel a bit uneasy. The next morning, Tam woke up feeling incredibly refreshed. His sleep had lasted from the moment he lay down until he heard the alarm without any startling awakenings. Stepping out of his room, Tam saw Mrs. Lou in the kitchen. He politely greeted her. Good morning, Auntie. Did you sleep well? You're awake, son. Are you drunk? No, Auntie. Go to your personal hygiene. Uncle will be back soon. Yes. About half an hour later, Mr. Dye returned with his daughter. This was the first time in so many years that Tam had seen his cousin again. He had known about Cuck's condition beforehand, but he was still a bit flustered, because Cuck, though she had the appearance of a young woman in her 20s, was wearing children's clothes. Her hair was tied with ribbons, and she had a bewildered smile on her face. Mr. Dye patted his daughter's shoulder, pointing to a small room nearby. Go in there and rest, daughter. Didn't your mother give you medicine? You have to take your baby for a walk in the street. If you don't, she'll cry loudly. All right, all right. After much coaxing, Cuck finally retreated to her room. Mr. Dye watched his daughter's receding figure and sighed wearily. Then he came over and sat next to Tam. What happened with Mrs. Six's house? Uncle, I can't stay in that rental room anymore. There's a ghost there. Ghost? What ghost? In this day and age, who still believes in such things? You're a university student. Superstition isn't good, son. Uncle, this isn't superstition, it's completely real. Tam recounted everything in detail, just as he had told Mrs. Lou. Mr. Dye seemed very surprised, but unlike last night when he called Mrs. Six now, she picked up. The call was short and concise. Mr. Dye then muttered, This woman, she's impossible. Cuck, Cuck, Mrs. Lou ran up from the kitchen. What is it, husband? Did you reach Mrs. Six? I called her, and next time, choose your friends carefully, okay? Mr. Dye then told her truthfully. It's true that room was left empty and not rented out because someone died there, and many strange things happened. I asked her why she agreed to rent it out now, and she said she didn't want to offend me, and also thought that after such a long time, the student's spirit must have moved on. Oh dear goodness, so what do we do now? What do we do? Let's eat breakfast. Then we'll go there, you and I, to pack up your things. Luckily, they're willing to refund the money. There's no shortage of decent rental places in this city. Yes, I understand. Thank you, Uncle. A moment later, when the two of them returned to the alley, Mrs. Six was already waiting in front. When she saw them, she showed an uncooperative attitude. Here's your rent, Tam. Tam respectfully took the 1 million VND and thanked her. Mr. Dye, however, went straight to the point. Come on, son, let's get your things. Yes. It was daytime, but when Tam entered the rental room, he still felt a chilling atmosphere. He even occasionally felt a cold current run through his body. Fortunately, there weren't many things to pack. Tam put all his belongings into his backpack and the small bag, just like when he first arrived. When he was done, he closed the door, locked it, and returned the key to Mrs. Six. With a cold expression, she said nothing, just took the key and walked away. But the story didn't end there. After leaving Mrs. Six's lodging house, Mr. Dye took Tam to nearly 10 other places. Some had no rooms available, others were too expensive, 3-4 million VND, plus a few months' deposit. How could Tam afford that? By late afternoon, the two of them stopped at a drink stall for a refreshing beverage. Tam looked at the bustling streets, sighing dejectedly, while Mr. Dye lit a cigarette and took a puff. Tam, I think it'll be hard to find a suitable rental room right now. tomorrow you're starting university. So, for now, why don't you stay at my place? It's not spacious, and your cousin is still ill, so it might be a bit inconvenient, but there's no other way. Uncle, I feel like I'm bothering your family too much. No bother at all. Actually, when your mother was looking for a rental room, I also considered letting you stay at my house. But we still had a spare room, usually for guests, so I thought you could stay there. However, I thought since Cuck is ill and unstable, she might bother you and affect your studies, so your aunt and I discussed it. No, that's fine, Uncle. Don't worry, I don't mind Cuck's condition. She's really pitiful. Well, that's good then. Finish your drink and let's go home. Arrange your things and get some rest for tomorrow's enrollment. Yes, Uncle, but I only ask to stay temporarily. I will quickly find a new rental place. I'd be too embarrassed to live permanently at your house. All right, whatever you want. For now, let's just solve this problem. After a while, Mr. Dye drove Tam home. When Mrs. Liu heard her husband say Tam would be staying with them, she immediately agreed, feeling sorry for Tam, who was alone. At the same time, she apologized for not thoroughly checking Mrs. Six's lodging information. Tam, however, shook his head and waved his hand. It's okay, Aunt Lou, it's not your fault. You and Uncle have already helped me so much. Even I didn't know about this, I had to hear it from someone nearby. Now you're even letting me stay here, how can I blame you? All right, no more talk. Bring your things into the room, arrange them, and then come out to eat. From now on, consider this your home, okay? Be natural, no need to be polite, understand? Yes, I understand. That evening, at the family dinner table, with Mr. and Mrs. Dye, Tam, and Cuck. Cuck was still like a child, eating from her own bowl and needing Mrs. Liu to spoon-feed her. Yet, Tam still felt the warmth the family meal brought. When dinner was almost finished, as if remembering something, Mr. Dye asked Tam, "Are you planning to tell your mother about moving here?" Uncle, I probably won't. My mother tends to worry a lot. Normally, it's fine, but if she heard about this, she'd be restless and worried. I don't want to make her worry, especially now that she's getting older. Thinking like that is right. After dinner, Tam sat and watched the news with Mr. Dye, then returned to his room to rest. With all preparations done, tomorrow morning he would be at school to attend his class and meet new friends. Tam was very excited. However, this feeling of excitement was quickly shattered by anxiety. Once again, at exactly 3 a.m., he woke up with a start, eyes wide open, sweat pouring down his face, muttering, "What is happening?" The cause of his fright was that Tam had once again dreamed he was in his old rental room at Mrs. Six's. Not only that, but there was a shadowy figure standing at the foot of the bed. The room light wasn't very bright, so Tam couldn't clearly see the person's face. But why did he need to see clearly when he knew it was the student who had hanged himself in that room? Terrified, Tam jolted upright. He breathed heavily, huddling in the corner of the bed, muttering, "I've moved here, so why am I still dreaming?" Taking a moment to collect himself, Tam thought that he was probably still haunted by what had happened, which was why he kept having nightmares. He was at Mr. Dye's house now, after all. However, he didn't dare go back to sleep immediately and just sat huddled like that until he heard footsteps and the shuffling sounds of Mrs. Liu. Knowing it was almost time for school, Tam went outside. Of course, he didn't want to tell Mr. Dye and Mrs. Liu about his dream. But what surprised Tam was that for almost a week now, he hadn't had a single good night's sleep. Every time he closed his eyes, Tam found himself back in that strange rental room. This constant mental strain made him eat and sleep irregularly, leading him to lose a lot of weight. His lips were dry, and he looked pale and lifeless. Of course, Mr. Dye and Mrs. Liu noticed his haggard appearance and asked about it. At first, Tam just shook his head, saying it was because he stayed up late studying. But after being pressed a few times, he finally confessed. Needless to say, Mr. and Mrs. Dye looked at each other. Mr. Dye reassured his nephew, "Tam, you're probably just still haunted by that incident, that's why you're having dreams." Mrs. Liu immediately shook her head. "No, husband, I don't think this is that simple." "Why not?" "I didn't intend to say anything, but since we're here, today when I went to the kitchen to prepare food, I noticed a short letter on the counter with a strong, rotten smell. It smelled so bad I didn't dare take it outside, so I just put it in the refrigerator. I'll take it out when I need to cook. Also, last night, around 2 or 3 a.m., I suddenly woke up and went to the bathroom. I passed by Tam's room, and I heard what sounded like someone talking inside. I assumed Tam was on the phone with his friends. I thought it was late, so I'd talk to him in the morning. But as soon as I finished my thought, the talking stopped. But from that moment on, I felt like someone was looking at me from behind. But when I turned around, there was no one there. Husband, do you think those things followed Tam back here? Don't talk nonsense. Our house has proper altars and worships the earth god. What ghosts or spirits could possibly get in? Rest assured, there's nothing to worry about. Yes, I understand. Despite saying that, Tam clearly had no way to escape his own confusion. In the early afternoon, after finishing lunch, he packed his bag and prepared to go to school. Suddenly, from inside his room, Tam was startled by a knock on the door. While still bewildered, Mrs. Liu's voice rang out, "Tam, are you in your room, son?" "Yes, Auntie, I'm here." "Open the door, I have something to tell you." Tam opened the door for Mrs. Liu to enter. She immediately gestured for him to be silent. "Tam, I've thought a lot about this. Your Uncle Dai doesn't believe it, but I do. I'm going to invite a master to come and perform a ritual. If that spirit has truly followed you here, we must get rid of it. The longer we wait, the more dangerous it becomes." "But Auntie, will this be expensive?" "Don't worry, even if it's expensive, we'll solve it completely. Do you think I want to live with ghosts? Besides, I won't make you pay. I just want you to keep this a secret. Don't tell your Uncle Dai, okay?" "Yes, I understand. Agreed then. If the master agrees, I'll let you know. Remember, only you and I know about this." "Yes, Auntie." After giving instructions, Mrs. Liu left. As for Tam, he went to school with his mind in the clouds, filled with confused and fearful thoughts. By the end of class, the teacher told Tam to buy a course outline outside of the textbook, so he dropped by the photocopy shop to ask if they sold them. As he was looking through the pile of books, Tam was startled by a tap on his shoulder. "Tam, where have you been? You disappeared." "Oh, Min, I'm so sorry. I moved out of the rental place. I was going to call you, but I couldn't find your number. Then I asked Mrs. Six, and she told me you weren't there anymore." "Yes, I moved back to my uncle's house for a while. I had some business to take care of." "Don't hide anything from me. What happened, tell me." Truthfully, after Min pressed him repeatedly, Tam couldn't hide it any longer. He recounted the reason for his move. Min, upon hearing it, clicked his tongue and said, "So you moved out and Mrs. Six locked that room again. It's strange. I also heard someone vaguely rumor about that haunted lodging house before, but I was used to it and didn't see anything, so I thought it was just a rumor. Who knew it was true? You experienced it firsthand. Was it scary?" "Yes, it was scary, of course. To this day, I'm still haunted by it. It's like that spirit followed me back to Uncle Dai's house. For the past few days, every time I've slept, I've dreamed of being back in that haunted rental room and seeing that hanging student. Just telling you now makes my hair stand on end." "Goodness, no wonder you left so quickly. So what are you planning to do now?" "I'm asking Aunt Lou to help me. She said she would invite a master to perform a ritual." If there's faith, there's a sacred presence, and if there's caution, there's peace. Do that, and it will all go away. But now I have to go buy my course outline and quickly go home. Otherwise, if I call a motorbike taxi too late, they'll charge more." "Oh, I'm here. Do you need to call a motorbike taxi? I'll drive you back." "No, that's okay. I don't want to bother you." "Is your uncle's house nearby?" "About a kilometer." "Then don't worry about it. We're not living in the same alley anymore, but if you need any help, or if you ever want to drink, just call me." "Yes, I understand." A moment later, Min drove Tam home. He briefly saw Mrs. Liu standing in the courtyard with a tall, thin, middle-aged man. Recognizing Tam, she waved him over. "Tam, come here, son." He quickly took off his helmet and thanked Min again before hurrying inside. "Auntie, Mr. Tu is here, son. He has agreed to help us." "Hello, master." "Extend your right hand, young man." "Yes." As soon as he held Tam's hand, Master Tu frowned. "He's been tormented too much. This is more serious than I thought. You're lucky. Lucky that Mrs. Liu invited me early. Otherwise, in another week or two, he might have gone mad." "Master, please save me, I'm so scared." "Don't worry, I'm here now." After asking a few more questions, Master Tu went inside and began preparing for the ritual. The ritual passed quickly, lasting only about an hour. Afterward, the master gave Tam a talisman, telling him to always carry it with him. He also told Mrs. Lu to come to his place tomorrow to get some herbal medicine for Tam to drink. If he drank it diligently for 7 days, the spirit would no longer haunt him. That night, the first night with the talisman in hand, Tam felt both excited and worried, wondering if the talisman would work. He even dared not sleep. But fortunately, Mrs. Lu came into his room, bringing him orange juice and comforting words. After half an hour of contemplation, Tam finally took a gamble and lay down to sleep. And it was almost as if the talisman worked. Although his sleep wasn't entirely peaceful, and Tam still woke up occasionally, the important thing was that he no longer saw those terrifying things. The next morning, Tam opened his room door feeling as if he was starting a new life. The first person he sought out was Mrs. Lu. "Aunt Lu, how was last night? I slept well, Auntie." "That's good then. Now let's finish this once and for all. Here, take this talisman from Master 2. Namo Amitabha Buddha, consider it a blessing. Nothing too serious happened. Auntie, how much did it cost to invite the master? I want to pay you back." "Son, why do you always talk about money? We're family. It didn't cost much. Master 2 mainly does good deeds. Now go sit in the living room and wait. I'll finish breakfast and then go get the medicine. Oh, and one more thing. Master 2 reminded me yesterday that for the next 7 days while you're taking the medicine, you're not allowed to leave the house. Remember to arrange with the school to take time off, okay?" "Yes, I've already asked for leave." "Good. I also wanted to remind you that if your Uncle Dai asks, tell him it's traditional medicine I brewed for you to help with insomnia, okay?" "Yes, I remember." After a few more instructions, Mrs. Lu returned to cooking breakfast. That same evening, after dinner, Mrs. Lu brought a bowl of yellowish liquid into Tam's room. It had a pungent, unpleasant smell. Without asking, Tam guessed it was definitely Master 2's talisman water. Mrs. Lu placed it on the table and told Tam, "Drink it, son. 1 bowl like this every day." "Yes, Auntie." He brought the bowl to his mouth. Its taste was not easy to drink, but thinking that he would completely get rid of the haunting spirit, Tam tried his best to drink it all down. After drinking the medicine, go to bed and try to sleep. Temporarily put aside your studies and focus on the treatment. Remember to stay in bed until midnight, okay? "Yes, Auntie." Following Mrs. Lu's instructions without hesitation, Tam lay down and quickly fell into a deep sleep after about half an hour. This sleep was so profound that Tam woke up the next morning when the clock showed 9:00 a.m. Goodness, I slept so much. Furthermore, Tam tried to recall, but there was no memory of any nightmare tormenting him. Leaving his room, Tam went to look for Mrs. Lu but couldn't find her. Only Mr. Dai was sitting on the porch, combing his daughter's hair. "Tam, you're awake, son. Are you okay? Why did you sleep so much? Earlier, I was about to go in and wake you up, but Aunt Lu told me to let you sleep." "Yes, I think I'm fine. Aunt Lu brewed some herbal medicine for me, so I slept a lot." "Oh, that's good then. If you can sleep, then sleep to regain your strength. Where is Aunt Lu?" "She went to the market. She'll be back soon. Since you're awake, come inside. We haven't been to the supermarket for a whole week, and now we finally have some free time." "That's great, let's go to the supermarket then," Cuck suddenly exclaimed like a child. Time flew by. By now, Tam had completed 5 days of treatment, meaning there were only 2 more bowls of medicine left. He would be completely rid of the evil spirits. That night, as usual, the 6th dose was brought into his room by Mrs. Lu. Tam was even used to its pungent smell, so he drank it without holding his nose. After Tam finished drinking, Mrs. Lu took the bowl out, and he lay down on the bed, preparing for a peaceful sleep. But a moment later, Tam felt a dull pain in his stomach. He had eaten crab noodle soup made by Mrs. Lu earlier, so Tam thought to himself, "Maybe I'm not used to it, that's why my stomach hurts." The pain grew stronger, making Tam decide to get up and go to the bathroom. As he went downstairs, just about to relieve himself, Tam suddenly heard muffled voices talking in Mr. and Mrs. Dai's kitchen. "So, there's only 1 more night left to complete it, right? Just 1 more bowl." Tam frowned. Didn't Uncle Dai not know about this? Did Aunt Lu already tell him? If it were normal circumstances, Tam would have spoken up, but being in the bathroom, he decided to remain silent. And it was this silence that allowed Tam to listen to the conversation, and from it, he learned a horrifying truth. The person who didn't know anything wasn't Mr. Dye, but Tam himself. Because everything that happened was part of Mr. and Mrs. Dye's plan. Cuck's illness had no cure, despite the couple searching everywhere. Then, a master's prophecy stated that they had to use the yang energy of a young man mixed with a woman's yin energy to draw back Cuck's soul. And the person unintentionally chosen was Tam. At first, Mr. Dye intended to lure another acquaintance, but this person was quite difficult to manipulate. Then Tam suddenly appeared after Mrs. Ten's phone call for help. So, Mr. Dye hatched a plan. He knew that Mrs. Six's lodging house had a haunted room. He asked Mrs. Six to rent it out, claiming he had a mischievous and troublesome nephew who was coming to the city to study but refused to stay at his house. He wanted his nephew to live elsewhere, party, and live recklessly. When that didn't work, he wanted to use the haunted room to scare his nephew into coming home. Mrs. Six initially refused, but Mr. Dye persuaded her until she reluctantly agreed. The next part of the plan was to make Tam believe he was haunted by the spirit of the hanged student. Everything was orchestrated by a special charm from Master 2. However, this charm was not to help Tam exorcise evil spirits, but to gradually deplete his yang energy. After 7 days, Cuck would recover from her illness, while Tam, having lost his yang energy, would gradually weaken. And eventually, he would die prematurely. After hearing this, Tam was utterly distraught. He even thought that Mr. and Mrs. Dye might be joking to scare him. But how could they know Tam was in the bathroom to scare him? Not to mention, Tam remembered that over the past few days, Cuck's condition had indeed improved. She no longer clung to her doll, and her eating, activities, and conversations were as if she was growing up. At this point, Tam was utterly crushed. He couldn't even accept the truth. He pinched his skin hard, but the pain only confirmed that everything he heard was true. Mr. Dye and Mrs. Liu had already left the kitchen and returned to their room. Without waiting for them to leave, Tam muttered, "No, I can't stay here. I can't let them succeed. I have to escape." He completely forgot about his stomachache, quickly got up and finished in the bathroom. He tiptoed out, carefully heading towards the gate, planning to run away. Just as he was about to take the final step, a voice shouted, "Tam, what are you doing? Stop right there." Recognizing Mr. Dye's voice, Tam frantically tried to leap over the fence. "Goodness, Tam, Tam is running away." "Tam, stay, Tam, come back." Managing to get out of Mr. Dye's house, Tam blindly ran down the street in front of him. He started to hear the gate open, and it wasn't hard to guess that Mr. Dye and Mrs. Liu would be chasing him to catch him. First, the effects of the strange charm began to manifest. Tam's eyes seemed to narrow, as if he could fall asleep in the middle of the road at any moment. "This is not good, this is not good." Mr. Dye's voice echoed in his ears once more. "Tam, stop there, Tam." Tam was utterly desperate, muttering, "Help, help." Before completely collapsing into unconsciousness, Tam felt another bright light shine directly into his eyes, but he wasn't lucid enough to know anything more. It wasn't until he woke up that Tam cried out in alarm. After a few minutes, he collected himself and realized he was lying in a hospital bed. From outside, a familiar figure entered. "You're awake, Tam?" It was a surprise, as the person was none other than Min. "Oh, Min, it's you. How are you doing? Why am I here? Am I dead?" "Boy, what's with this talk of life and death?" Min then recounted that last night, after drinking, he saw Mrs. Six and became furious, asking her why she knew the upstairs room was haunted but still turned a blind eye and rented it to Tam. Faced with this criticism, Mrs. Six confessed that it was Mr. Dye who asked her, not that she wanted to harm anyone. Hearing this, Min felt something was wrong because, from what he knew, Tam was not the type to cause trouble or party. So, to resolve his doubts, Min called Mr. Dye's number, but Tam didn't answer. Impatient and still under the influence of alcohol, Min decided to drive directly to Mr. Dye's house to inquire. When he arrived, he found Tam lying unconscious in the middle of the road. Mr. Dye and Mrs. Liu were there shortly after. They intended to take him home, but Min disagreed, insisting on calling an ambulance to take him to the hospital. Min even threatened to call the police, so Mr. Dye and Mrs. Liu reluctantly gave way and left. This cold and puzzling behavior made Min suspicious. Back in the present, after Min finished his story, Tam stammered out the truth to his senior. Min was a bit astonished after hearing it. The two of them then called Mr. Dye to confront him, but he didn't answer. A few days later, Tam was discharged from the hospital. The two of them went to Mr. Dye's house, but once again found the house empty and silent. Outside, some neighbors said that Mr. Dye and Mrs. Liu had packed their belongings that morning and left with their daughter to an unknown location. Leaving Mr. Dye's house, Min also took Tam to the police station for investigation. However, there was no concrete evidence, and even if there was, this was only an act of superstition, not yet causing serious consequences. So, the police told Tam to go home and they would investigate later. In the following days, Min took Tam to the photocopy shop. After Min explained Tam's situation, the shop owner felt pity and allowed him to stay temporarily and help with the work. Regarding Mr. Dye, it wasn't until 2 months later that Tam heard news of his relatives. Kuk died in a mental hospital, and the couple was emaciated and sickly, as if suffering from a terminal illness. They even shaved their heads and converted to Buddhism. No one knows what they truly went through. Was it remorse for their plot to harm Tam, or did the black magic backfire on them? Only they could answer that question.